Dear Aquarius, today Justice, the Tower, and the Six of Cups are calling your name, not with a whisper, but with the kind of vibration that echoes in your mind. Every time you fall silent, something is approaching. A cosmic balance is about to be restored, and an old memory is returning, not to pull you backward, but to finally close a loop. One that's been repeating far too long. A cycle is ending, and you're standing right at the edge. An unexpected phone call may come, or a message you never thought you'd receive. It might carry an apology, a shattered truth, or a gentle goodbye, but the point isn't what they say. The question is, what will you, the one listening, do with that truth? Will you repeat a broken pattern, or will you be the first and the last to choose freedom over emotional attachment to something that's already expired? Child of the wind, if your heart is softly vibrating with these cards, if there's something in the air that's making you pause, making you listen, making you remember what you once ignored, then write this in the comments below. I choose mental freedom, and divine justice will always stand with me. Because writing that down is not just affirming a new awareness, it's stepping through a new gate, one that only those brave enough to release may enter. Come closer now, sit with me like we used to, over a cup of tea, now cold from thoughts we never named. The cards are still, but your energy is not. It's moving, deeply, far. Today I speak to you not as a teacher, not even as a friend, but as a soul who's walked far enough to understand. Aquarius is not just a zodiac sign, it's a frequency, a dimension of awareness. When I turned over the cards, justice spoke first, not loud, not demanding, just a soft touch, enough to shake the door you locked with beliefs like, "It has to be this way." That card reminds you, you've lived too long in frameworks made by others. You once kept quiet to keep the peace. You once held back your truth because you didn't want to seem too cold, too rational, or too distant. But the heart of an Aquarius doesn't beat in the chest, it beats in the mind. And justice says, it's time to trust your inner compass again, to know what's real, and what's just an emotional illusion crafted by someone else's need. Then came the Tower, and you know, for most signs it's destruction. But for you, it's liberation. This tower isn't burning, it's dissolving like a mirage vanishing in daylight, because it was never real, a lie, a one-sided relationship, a pattern you once thought was destiny. It's all falling apart now, not because you failed, but because you've outgrown it. Life doesn't send lightning to scare you. It strikes to unlock the higher awareness you've buried under years of being too gentle. Truth doesn't always arrive through logic. Sometimes it slaps the old belief out of you, just in time for you to ask, what have I really been building my life on? And if the answer is unclear, then the collapse is a disguised blessing. Then came the Six of Cups, a breath of memory you forgot you were holding, someone from the past, a frequency you once danced with, a goodbye that never fully landed, a sentence left unfinished. And like always, they return, not to take you back, but to reflect the part of you you once left inside them. In this vision, I see a trembling voice, a tired face, a late-night whisper, as if they know time is running out. Will you open the door, or will you simply place a hand on the frame, thank them for the love you once shared, and walk away like someone who finally understands? That love doesn't always mean going back. I have no advice, only a vision. You will feel deep relief if you choose not to respond in your old ways. And yet, no lesson is complete unless I say this. There are still energies swirling around you, not ghosts, but vibrations of envy, comparison, from those who can't understand how you've come so far, so quietly. They don't know that your stillness is strength, that your silence is sacred, that your love is not loud. I see a familiar soul, maybe once close, trying to pull you back, not with force, but with guilt. They don't control you directly, but they know how to plant doubt, confusion, and division through the people around you. Stay awake, take a step back. Not everyone who knows you truly understands you. Not everyone who once loved you is calm enough to lift you up now. And finally, to the one who carries the Aquarius frequency, if you're still here, still listening, that means your soul is ready to walk into this new chapter without dragging anyone along, ready to wrap up the past, not out of denial, but because you know everything only holds value when released at the right time. Comment below as a promise to yourself. I release the old patterns, I choose freedom, I am the wind. And I'll be waiting for you on the other side of that horizon. I won't plant fear in you just to get you to obey, because you were never meant to be led by the shadows. Your heart has already gone through more than one quiet storm, and the only thing I want you to know right now is this. The light around you is far greater than any blurry energy trying to touch you. You are protected. When you walk down a quiet alley and feel the air shift, when you catch a strange stare in a familiar cafe, or when your dreams turn cloudy and your body grows restless for no reason, please remember, these are signals, not curses. Breathe and softly whisper to yourself, I don't belong to the darkness trying to pull me back. You're not under attack, you're evolving, you're rising into a new dimension. And when you rise, some old energies won't recognize you anymore. So they fight the disconnection with noise and confusion. But you don't have to be afraid, because your inner light is growing stronger. And I can clearly see, you're learning how to stand in your light without asking permission. A very clear vision appears, a line of light running down your spine, a wave of protection activating, a powerful hand resting on your shoulder, and a bell rings as if an ancient god is saying, it's not about defeating anyone, it's about remembering who you are. Your body may feel tired, your mind may feel lazy, but your energy is being cleansed. Every emotional center inside you is slowly returning to its natural rhythm. You may not see it, but tonight, your aura will shine brightest when you sleep. And though I'm speaking to you like a grandfather, I also feel the warm presence of a grandmother standing right behind you. She's not a ghost, she's a guardian. She is memory, woven deep into your bloodline. She's the one who held an umbrella over your souls before you even knew how to shelter anyone else. I hear her whisper to you, ***, you were born to lift others, but the house within you also needs its door locked sometimes. Not to keep people out, but to keep the sunlight from slipping through the cracks. ***. Justice returns once more, and this time not to demand anything, but to invite you to restore order. In your thoughts, in your rhythm, in the way you define what's right and what's expected. You don't have to throw everything away to start over. You just need to name things clearly. Is this something I carry out of love? Or am I holding on because I'm afraid of being disliked? You don't have to scream, I'm done suffering. You just need to gently say no, in the places where you once swallowed silence, even if it's just a nod, a graceful step back, or a smile that no longer agrees to bend. And I know your voice might tremble, but trembling isn't weakness. It's proof that you're standing at the edge of an old story and finally stepping through. The tower returns, but this time it's not a threat. It's a signal. Every collapse comes with dust, with sound, and then a rare silence. A sacred silence where for once you can hear your own heart without being drowned by obligations, roles, or the emotions of others. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to laugh after that, laugh. If you need to disappear for a few days, do it. No apology needed, because anything real will still be there, and anything that was just a mask will fly off with the first honest breeze. The Six of Cups still hasn't taken its eyes off me. It keeps handing me a string of memories, a familiar voice, a phrase that once broke you down, a gaze that once flooded your heart with a feeling you couldn't name. And now, a call is coming in. It might be the last time you ever hear that voice. And you don't owe anyone a response if it doesn't come from your soul. You don't have to relive a feeling just because it once felt real. You don't have to finish an unfinished relationship if what you truly need is to finally be free from it. This return isn't here to bind you. It's here to help you see what's soul connection and what's just attachment. This space is filled with suspended memories, with promises floating like clouds at dusk, with stories left open that have worn you out for far too long. And if you're still here, still listening, you've already made it through more than half the journey. So now, I want to gift you a sacred decree, a phrase to anchor the protection that's surrounding you. Place your hand on your heart and say it with me out loud. I close what needs to close. I release what no longer belongs to me. I walk in light and the light walks with me. Let those words flow through your body like a cool, cleansing stream. Let it pull you away from the shards still clinging to your thoughts, because once you speak it, a new doorway will open, and you will never need to walk back through the old one again. Before I leave this frequency, there's one more thing I need you to know. There are two energies very close to you, not to help, but to observe, to compare, to envy, and to quietly hope that you won't fly too far. You felt them, not with your eyes, but with your gut, in the cold stillness of certain conversations, in the sudden fatigue after a visit, in the ache when you step into a familiar room. Don't ignore those signals. Your intuition has never been wrong. And if you've ever made excuses for a feeling that just wouldn't go away, then today, I ask you to trust that first feeling again. You don't need to accuse anyone, just walk away and close the gate behind you with love. Leave a declaration below just for you. I am the keeper of the frequency. I choose freedom. And I remember who I am. If you've come this far, you are no longer just the listener. You are the one walking through the gate. And I'll be waiting for you on the other side of the light. Leaving behind someone who drained you does not make you a bad person. Setting boundaries isn't rebellion, it isn't harshness. It's the most compassionate act you've ever done for yourself, because you cannot heal someone if every time you touch them, you have to sacrifice the rhythm of your own heart. And I know, somewhere inside you still wants to be understood, to be explained, to finally say what really happened. But real justice isn't found in proving anything. It's found in choosing to protect your flame, even if no one else sees it. Even if you do it in silence, you don't need the world to understand your truth. The universe already knows, and justice has already recorded every detail on the map of your soul. These recent days have been a powerful cleansing, and it's no coincidence you've felt the urge to clean your space, to rearrange your room, to delete old conversations, to block someone who once disrupted your peace, or to suddenly simplify everything around you. You're not just tidying up your outer life, you're preparing for a new destined cycle within. A spiral has completed its course. And for the next door to open, you must make room. Room for breath, room for light, room for a purer version of yourself to enter. There's a truth waiting for you to see it clearly. It's not cruel, but it is undeniable. Someone you once believed was an ally may show a different face. A family member who once spoke with kindness might confuse you with one dishonest act. A relationship bound by duty may begin to crumble when trust no longer holds it together. But don't see it as a door slamming shut. See it as a door slowly opening. When the curtain falls, the light might sting your eyes at first. But once you've adjusted to the truth, you won't want to live in the dark anymore. I'm telling you this as someone who has lived through many seasons of cold wind. Letting someone go, whether literally or symbolically, is not a failure. It is a karmic correction, meant to return a sacred part of your life force. You are not empty, you are recovering, you are not losing, you are making space. You are not being left behind, you are being guided toward the sacred gate that belongs to you. I see a corridor opening up, where your breathing shifts, where your steps grow lighter, where you no longer have to play any role except your own, and in that space, your creativity will rise again, as fierce and free as it was before it was ever silenced. Inside the sacred heart of Aquarius, where soul tribes, mind-to-mind connection, and visionary friendships are holy, you will begin to choose more carefully. Who do you share your meals with? Who do you share your thoughts with? Who truly deserves to be lifted by your gentle touch? You will still love, but you'll love with awareness. You'll love without forgetting yourself. Something else is surfacing now on a familiar street corner, at that old cafe, in the smile of someone you once trusted. There are conversations happening around you, not because you're weak, but because your light makes some people feel unsafe. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to shrink to fit. Just remember this. You don't belong in places where your energy is doubted. Choose a different table, a different cafe, a different habit, a different way of seeing. These small daily choices are the most tangible signs that justice is in motion. When the tower falls, you get to decide what remains. You get to choose the softer voice. Choose silence over retaliation. Choose compassion for yourself. And if you're ready, you can choose to say goodbye, not as an ending, but as a final thank you for a journey that's now complete. You don't need everyone to understand right now. Those who are meant to understand will when the time is right. Those who choose not to never will, and that is okay, because your worth is not tied to someone else's recognition. It lives in the inner clarity you protect each day. In the moment you choose peace over proving, stillness over judgment, light over another exhausting loop, that moment is when your soul signs a new contract. And when you step through that gate, the very first things you'll notice are a deep, uninterrupted sleep, a conversation that doesn't drain you, a glance that restores your faith in people, an invitation that asks for nothing in return. You deserve all of that, and if you still hesitate, then write this down below the video as a clear declaration to the universe. I choose my peace and my freedom. By doing so, you mark a new path, one that only those truly ready to live honestly will ever be allowed to enter. Someone who once walked through your life, someone your soul once deeply felt, is now walking through a darkness that no one else can carry them through. It's not just about facing what they've done. It's about, for the first time, having to look deeply into their own mirror, the one reflecting back every small choice they once thought was harmless, but that now weighs heavy on their spirit. Their voice might tremble, as if breaking apart from the inside, and sometimes, they may quietly bring up your sweetest memories, not to pull you back, but like a soul trying to stretch out the last rays of light before night fully closes in around them. But you are not obligated to hold on to that thread. You do not have to return to old emotions just because someone suddenly calls your name again. You are allowed to honor what was beautiful without getting lost in a maze that no longer fits who you are. You can say yes to a kind and conscious closure, and you can also say no to any last-minute promise born from confusion, not clarity. If your soul is feeling the need to say goodbye, then let that farewell rise from the light of who you are today, from a heart that has awakened and a mind that has been forged in truth. And if you choose silence, let it be the silence of self-love, not a punishment for someone else. Whichever path you take, justice is on your side, because the only thing you are truly responsible for is the purity of your intention. The outcome, that belongs to karma. It's not your burden to carry. Those who poison the stream, those who move through life on inherited rage, they will lose their grip. The moment you stay rooted in your own clarity, you don't need to fight back. You only need to remain still. Because in the days to come, many masks will begin to fall, and you'll witness how truth does its own work. So don't be surprised if those who once clung to your light begin to retreat in silence. It's not because you've changed, it's because you've stopped compromising with what dims you. You don't need to shout that you're right. You only need to stand firm and let your energy speak for itself. The best defense now is your integrity, your calm, your unwavering belief in the light you carry. And if someone tries to reopen old wounds, just breathe. Return to the sacred command within you, the one that chose never to harm anyone, but also never to let anyone harm you again. Your voice will travel farthest when you choose the right moment to speak, not when you're pulled into someone else's game. I look back at the cards, and they whisper to me in the frequency of ancient truth. Closure is coming to you, not with a bang, but with love, a deep, quiet love, the kind you finally learned to give it to yourself. Love that knows how to say yes when the heart is alive, and how to say no when the soul is tired. Love that doesn't demand sacrifice. Love that doesn't ask you to carry the whole world on your shoulders. Love that understands this. If you don't protect the home within you, you will begin to resent even the ones you care for most. And then, when the dust settles on the last stones of the fallen tower, when justice places each piece of truth back into its rightful place, and when the Six of Cups gently invites you to look back on your past, not in chains but with gratitude, something new begins to awaken in you. You open your eyes and your breath feels deeper. Your shoulders feel lighter. The world around you sharpens as if someone just wiped clean the lens of your life. That is how you know the gate has opened. But you know what? Something else, something precious, is about to be revealed. A gesture, a word, a quiet action may appear, subtle yet powerful, like desert wind whispering through the night, pulling you back to your spiritual axis. You may hear a name, you may speak a truth out loud, and for the first time, you won't tremble when you say it. When one door closes, another opportunity begins to open quietly, but real opportunities never arrive dressed as illusions. I'll show you how to recognize it, not with logic, but by listening to the very first breath your soul exhales when it's truly here. There are things now you are no longer meant to tolerate. And I say this like someone placing a hand over your heart, whispering, "You've been noble enough to hurt yourself. You stayed silent when you needed to speak. You bowed your head so no one else would be hurt, and forgot that your back also deserves to stand tall. But now it's enough. What you're walking through right now is not just a cleansing, it's a deep awakening of your dignity, a remembrance of sacred boundaries, a reclaiming of your right to pause, even if the fire in you sometimes wears the clothes of air, blazing, still, or just a faint breath. I know this. That flame has never gone out. Under the night sky, you once believed you were alone, but truly, you were being given back the emptiness you needed so that something new could gently slip in without crashing into the ruins of what used to be. Have you ever wondered why right before your victory, you're asked to let go, why life keeps asking you to release the very thing you love the most? Listen to me as if I were a breeze, whispering through the deepest chamber of your mind, because this time, you're not failing, you're creating space. Your hands, like cups of energy, can only receive the new when they are wide open and clean, and what's coming is worthy of that space. If you're still here, if your heart is trembling with this truth, then write it down below as a sacred offering to the highest altar of your soul. I choose to live in awareness. I release what has ended. I open my hands to receive what is worthy. This is not just a sentence. This is the entrance to your next chapter, and you now carry enough light to walk forward without needing someone to hold your hand. There is a message emerging all around you like the moon card rising over a silver-lit tarot table beside the chariot of destiny. A misty light, but firm, shining on the road ahead of you, a road you'll take without looking back. Real love is drawn, but it will not knock if your heart is still locked with a key from the past. This is not just about another relationship. This is about you and the promise you once forgot to keep, the one you made to your own soul, to be loved in freedom, to be accepted without hiding, to be able to rest without paying for it in pain. You're approaching a new kind of love, one that doesn't ask you to shrink. A love that doesn't force you to choose between your ideals and your emotions. A love that flows like gentle spring water from the source. It doesn't leave you thirsty. It doesn't make you doubt. It doesn't demand you become a softer version of yourself. But before that arrives, there is a threshold, a night of awakening, a moment of facing the sharpest gaze, your own, not to judge, but to choose again, from a place within you that no longer trembles from fear, guilt, or from loving others more than yourself. That decision might come dressed in sweetness, a carefully crafted invitation, a familiar face appearing in a dream, something you thought was over, suddenly breathing again. When it comes, you don't need to prepare, you just need to breathe. Sit with the truth, place your hand over your heart, and choose from the place you once didn't trust, the part of you that knows what light feels like. Your guides are whispering back to you, not loud, but persistent, like the wind tapping on an old window. They're telling you this closure is not random. It's the consequence of everything you've had the courage to learn. And even if it feels like a sad song reaching its final note, you are not mourning, you are giving birth to a new life right at the center of your being. A vision appears, someone who once hurt you not because they were strong, but because you trusted too deeply. They were a mirror, not of who you wanted to become, but of who you were determined never to repeat. They didn't teach you with wisdom. They taught you with shadow, with broken promises, with boundaries they never respected, with the way they denied you, and in that, you learned how to finally choose yourself. Now, if they return, if they try to piece something back together, if they ask for forgiveness or offer a goodbye, you have the right to give it or not, because you no longer belong to that chapter. You've gathered every scattered piece of your energy. You've come home to your real home, not the one you tried to fix yourself to fit in. You've spoken your truth, in the only court that ever mattered, the court of your own conscience. In the days ahead, you'll begin to notice the signs, clear as the ticking of an old mechanical clock, a strange look from someone new, a coincidence too perfect to ignore, a breeze that carries a forgotten scent through a familiar street corner. Don't miss it, because the universe is speaking to you in the language you've quietly mastered over all these years of stillness. And if you're still here, still listening, then leave a sacred affirmation for the version of you that's now emerging. I no longer repeat, I choose freedom, I have come home to myself. That sentence is not just a mantra, it's a code. It's the key that unlocks the very gate that has been waiting for you. And through that gate, real love will enter, silently, surely, and wide enough that you'll never need to shrink yourself again. There will be moments when words spoken in someone else's conversation hit your heart exactly when you need them. A dream will nudge you awake, whispering a long-awaited answer. A situation that once shook you to your core will now pass over you like a light wave drifting through thin air. That is the signal that your frequency has changed. Your body is adjusting. Your skin, your heartbeat, your cravings, your sleep. They're all messages from the soul. You might be sleeping deeply, or tossing and turning at 3 a.m. You might flinch at the slightest sound, or feel like the sunlight is too much. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're shedding an old layer of protection. You're becoming someone new, someone no longer carrying energy that never truly belonged to you. And no, it's not easy. There will be moments you feel too fragile, but that's the kind of fragility that comes with a sprout, pushing through the soil to meet the sky. And when this process completes itself, a silence will arrive as soft as morning air after rain. Within that stillness, a new vision will begin to form. You'll stand in your familiar kitchen, cup of tea in hand, and finally, you'll see a face in the mirror that's no longer vague. No more masks, no more pleasing, no more compromising yourself just to be loved. From there, a new path opens. Not the one drawn for you, but the one you've been quietly walking toward all along. You'll stop living to prove your worth. You won't need to convince anyone that you deserve to exist. Justice will no longer be something you wait for. It becomes something that lives inside you, clear, steady, and as silent as the rhythm of your soul's own tide. What was once sent to hurt you is now returning to where it came from, not because you cursed it, but because you've stepped beyond its frequency. You're no longer tangled in the web of old connections. You're the one who untied the knot. You're the one standing outside the story now, realizing you no longer carry a name in that chapter. And then, a familiar face may return in a dream or through some strange coincidence. Someone who left quietly, now searching for you with a trembling voice, not to reclaim you, but to ask for forgiveness. But you're no longer there to soothe someone else's pain. With the wound you were meant to heal, you are not a shelter. You are a threshold. You are light. You are the one guarding the gate. If you hear their voice again and your heart stirs just a little, know this: it doesn't mean you have to go back. It's a closing ritual, a soul's testimony, a sacred moment for you to say, I've let go, and I now allow myself to live with nothing left to owe. Not everyone gets to witness this moment, but you did, because you walked through the loneliness, not to become hollow, but to be filled with your own light. And now that your light is clearer than ever, another door is opening, quietly, cleanly, wider than anything you ever imagined. You'll feel it in the way you fold a kitchen towel, in the way you move your favorite chair, in the way your eyes shimmer when someone new enters that space, carrying a frequency that does not require you to shrink at all. If you're still here, leave your affirmation in the comments. I am my own light. I let go gently and I move forward. This isn't just a sentence, it's a declaration, and the moment you speak it, the chariot with your name on it will begin to move. No one can stop it now. You're stepping into a new life, one where you'll never be asked to pretend again, where you no longer have to shrink yourself to fit into the shape someone else built for you, where conversations become soul-to-soul connections, not battlegrounds for the ego. New projects will appear, and this time they will ask you to be you. No more hiding, no more filters. They will require your full presence, your raw perspective, your misunderstood voice. But from that space, your future will begin to take shape, because the future isn't something you predict, it's something you choose. And to walk through that next gate, you must let go of the memories that once made you feel weak, not because they didn't matter, but because they've already served their purpose. Let go of the things you once worshipped, the conversations that never ended, the apologies you waited for, as if healing depended on them. You don't need them anymore, because now you've learned how to touch your own soul with honest hands. You no longer need someone to validate your pain for it to be real. There's a quiet power that comes from your awareness. When you place your hand over your heart, breathe and say, I don't need permission to be free. I am the witness of my own becoming. On my table, the Justice card rises, a symbol that cannot be denied. No one can take from you what's truly yours. Not envy, not judgmental eyes, not even your own past. Every time they try to twist the truth, you'll remain rooted. Every time they try to pull you back, you'll see the mask. And no, you won't need to scream to defend yourself. You'll simply be anchored in integrity, protected by silence. And in your no, there will be no bitterness. They might come back, they might text, they might try to melt your heart with memories, but you don't belong to that chapter anymore. You are no longer the child waiting for explanations. You've rewritten the script. You're no longer running from pain. You are the one who turns to face it and asks, what is it you want to teach me one last time? You've proven that love doesn't need to be heavy. You've walked away from connections that drained you. And now you're learning to choose relationships that make you stronger, not the ones that steal your sleep. Your mind is like the sky, dear Aquarius. Keep that sky clean. Don't let the clouds of the past pull you away from the new winds, because you're entering a cycle where your thoughts become rivers of creation. If you let doubt or regret dominate the airwaves, you'll drift off course, far from the life meant for you. But if you dare to believe, if you allow yourself to open like a cosmic antenna, you'll hear the messages clearer than ever before. You'll begin to notice subtle changes. Your schedule shifts. You pause midday just to breathe. You ignore a call you used to answer instantly. You set boundaries without guilt. You decline invitations without needing to explain. This isn't coldness. This is healing. This is you rebuilding your emotional home. A home where only those who enter with respect are welcome. Because you are sacred ground. You are a temple where only the highest frequencies are allowed to land. And when you love again, you will love without losing yourself. You will love from overflow, not from lack. You will know how to keep your own cup full before offering a single drop to anyone else. If someone comes back, if they return with delayed promises, you don't have to slam the door, but you do have the right to ask. Are they coming because they've truly changed, or because I'm no longer soft in the places I used to be? Aquarius, you don't need to raise your voice. Sometimes all it takes is a look, a smile, a boundary placed just right, and peace remains in your hands. In the coming days, you will see clearly there's no more space for confusion, no more room for doubt, only you standing in clarity, and life responding with fairness. And now take a deep breath with me. Place your hand on your chest and repeat this out loud or quietly if you're ready. I am my own safe home. I release all that does not uplift me. I open my heart to a love that is kind, clear, abundant, and aligned. And if you need a sign, know this: the universe already heard you. There will be souls who do not understand the quiet rising inside you, especially those who once drained your energy, as if it was their birthright. When you start placing boundaries, when you heal, when you stand tall in your own freedom, your new light may make others feel empty, not because you're wrong, but because your wholeness forces them to face their own hollow parts. But hear me, Aquarius, your protection is not made of brick walls. It's a soft, intelligent, energetic membrane, like the ozone that guards life from ultraviolet rays. You come and go on your own terms, not out of fear, not out of avoidance, but because there is now an adult within you, the one who knows how to cradle the child, who once feared abandonment, who once yearned for warmth so badly she was willing to trade away her soul. Now that tender part of you is holding your hand, no longer weeping, but learning how to love in healthy ways. How to accept without disappearing, how to say no without guilt. I see a new reign forming inside you, where the Queen of Compassion smiles, as you rearrange your sacred space, where you place your heart on the altar of truth, and let the light pass through every hidden corner. Cards like Four of Wands and Ten of Cups rise, not just as symbols of home or joy, but as sacred evidence of a journey walked with presence, where every step is conscious, every pause a deep moment of healing. I know some memories will resurface like underground waves. Maybe someone comes with an apology. Maybe a message arrives. Maybe a story you thought was closed reopens. But this time, you are different. You can stand before the mirror of the past without losing yourself. You can bless them silently, without turning back. You can even not show up at all if it keeps you from looping back. You've learned that compassion doesn't mean surrender. That love isn't self-abandonment. That forgiveness isn't an invitation for someone to break through your door again. And now, each time you choose to hold your energy for yourself, you are empowering your soul. I see old programming being dismantled. Problems you thought unsolvable now begin to dissolve, not through force, but through clear decisions and awakening light. Maybe it's a contract approved, a long-awaited resolution, or a boundary spoken, without tears, only peace. Your horizon is expanding, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually. You may feel called to reread a forgotten book, enroll in a new class, or teach yourself something new, not for performance, but because your soul craves meaning, and that hunger will draw in unexpected companions, not out of pity, but as open hands from those on the same frequency. Receive it, not as a favor, but as proof of all the quiet effort you've poured in across the years. No one saw your tears in the dark. No one counted the nights you rebuilt yourself with trembling hands, but the universe did, and now you are being met with balance. So when you look in the mirror and see a calmer version of yourself smile, not from pride, but from knowing you made it. And if old habits return, wearing a new disguise, don't rush to react. Ask yourself, is this a test, a sign, or a trap? But don't answer right away. Carry the question into your dreams. The moon within you will know, and when you wake, don't ask your mind. Ask your body. If it opens, that's yes. If it contracts, that's no. Because your body does not lie, and in this journey, it is the most precise compass you'll ever have. Breathe and remember what it felt like to wear shoes that were too tight. Don't go back to the patterns that once suffocated you. You are no longer the one clinging to people who can't swim. You're no longer the lifeguard in someone else's ocean. You are the keeper of the light, but now, that light is protected by sacred boundaries. You are the harbor. But a harbor with clear terms and strong, wise signs, that doesn't make you cold. It makes you grown. Life will begin to open doors you never expected. Once you live in tune with your own frequency, a new invitation will come. A moment of unexpected appreciation, a project where your emotional intelligence is finally honored, a place where the moment you arrive, you just know you belong, and when that person arrives, you'll feel it, no guessing. Your body will whisper, this is right, no fireworks, no drama, just a wave of warmth, an urge to clean the house, a peace so gentle it makes you cry. And in that moment, you'll finally understand you don't have to suffer to grow. You can evolve inside the arms of love. You can expand while being cherished, and anyone who truly loves you will understand this. Aquarius, my dear, if you've been dreaming of a home with golden light, a little corner for books, a table with morning tea, you're already on the right path, not because you need it to prove anything, but because you deserve it. And if there are days you feel lost, please remember you're not lost, you're returning to yourself, and that is the most beautiful thing you'll ever do. You are the current, you are the bringer of living water, and when you live in harmony with that essence, you are not just being healed, you are the healer. You are the one who blesses the world. If these words touch you like a soft breeze, then write this sentence below when your heart is ready. I honor my boundaries with love. I release the past and welcome what nourishes me. Write it slowly, no rush, like lighting a candle, and letting its glow spread across the room, because you are that light.